There's been this big knock on Kobe throughout the course of his career, even something that he himself spoke to when he was here with us. And that knock has been, well, Kobe can't be great because he played with Shaq. And not just Shaq. He played with a prime Shaq. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, are these people saying this to say, well, as if Kobe wasn't that dude? Number one. Number two, are you saying that Shaq would have won those championships without Kobe Bryant and you just plug in any other player? If that's what you're saying, then you really don't know what the hell is going on. What I want to do is I want to look at Shaq's numbers over that 3-year run when he was at his best. I want to quickly look at his numbers that year. During the regular season, Shaq led the league in scoring in 1999-2000, scoring 29.7 points per game with 3 blocks, 3.8 assists, which is a career high for him, 13.6 rebounds on, I'm not going to mention his free throw shooting because it was a different game, but he shot 50% from the free throw line, while shooting 57% from the field and playing 40 minutes a game that year, which is a career high. The very following season, he averaged 28.7 points, 2.8 blocks, 12.7 rebounds on 57% shooting. The season after that, he averaged 27.2, 2 blocks, 3 assists per game, 10.7 rebounds on 57.8% shooting. Those are his championship regular season numbers. In the playoffs, he bumped that. 2000, he averaged 30.7 and 15 throughout the playoffs. 2001, he averaged 30.4 and 15.4. The following season, he averaged, this is 2002, he averaged 28.5, 2.5 blocks, and 12.6 rebounds, all on above 50% shooting. All of those seasons. So Shaq was a very, very good player. And what the numbers don't show you is what actually took place. And this is the reason why I know a lot of the people talking about Kobe and all of that did not watch basketball. Because if you saw Kobe Bryant play and you saw what was actually happening and you're not just looking at a stat sheet, you would understand what the hell was going on. Those years in the regular season, you got to mind you, Kobe Bryant came into, at that point, he was probably 21 years old. So in the 1990 season, Kobe Bryant scored, and let me see, do they have his age? I'm not sure they have his age, but then I think he must have been 21 years old. That first year, he averaged in the regular season 22.5 points per game, 0.9 in blocks, 4.9 assists, 1.6 in steals. He shot 82% from the free throw line, 32% from the three-point line, and 46%. The very next year, he averaged 28.5, while Shaq is scoring 28.5 or 28.7 or something. Both of these dudes. The scrub that these guys like to talk about, the Kobe that had Shaq carrying him. This is very interesting. In the 2000-2001 season, Shaq was averaging 28.7. In that very same season, Kobe was averaging 28.5. That you carried somebody by averaging 0.2 points per game. He was scoring 28.5 points on 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 1.7 steals, shooting 85% from the free throw line, 30.5% from the three, 46% from the field. And the final year, the dynasty run, he averaged 25.2, 1.5 steals, 5.5 assists, 5.5 rebounds, and 83% shooting from the free throw line, 25% from the three, and 46.9% from the field. Those were his regular season numbers. Let's go to his playoff numbers. 2001, he averaged 21 a game. 1999 to 2000, he averaged 21.1. The next year, he averaged 29.4. And in 2002, he averaged 26.6. Those were Kobe's numbers in the playoffs. So obviously, Kobe Bryant was a very, very good player. But it turns out I'm not the only one that thought Kobe was the best player, because it turns out in 2001, Shaq was already calling Kobe the best player in the world.
When and why did you come to the revelation that this is the greatest player on the planet, Kobe Bryant?
When I first came to LA, Jerry showed me a tape of this kid, and I knew he had potential. And a lot of people thought we had problems. We never really had problems at all.
So you heard what Shaq had to say. Now let me get into the crux of my argument here. and really the title of today's show, which is, if you replaced Kobe with a LeBron, let's say at the same age even, same age Kobe is the same age LeBron James, it would have cost Shaq 3 rings. That's the argument I want to get into. And today I was perspicacious to some of the tricks that these guys were going to play. I was totally perspicacious to it. And I'm ready for it because I've been hearing some whispers out there from various channels that, oh, this guy doesn't really understand basketball. And today we want to address some of it. And let's get into the X and O's and really talk basketball here today. Let me break it down for you guys. Why would I say that if you replaced Kobe with LeBron and put him on that team at the same age, they would have lost 3 championships? The reason I'm saying that is from a basketball standpoint. Some of you are like, how can you say that? I'll break it down for you perfectly. First of all, when the Lakers were playing to win those championships, who was their head coach? The head coach was Phil Jackson. What offense was Phil Jackson running? The offense that Phil Jackson was running was a triangle offense, right? And for you to play in a triangle offense, you need to have a certain skill set. Now, Shaq, if you look at Shaq, well, you know there were certain things that Shaq wasn't going to do, which is what? Shaq is not going to be coming off of pin downs. He's not going to be coming off of picks and running around the floor. No, Shaq is going to anchor the offense. He's going to either get on the left block or the right block, post him up, and he goes to work. That means that his complementary star needed to be somebody that is good at moving with the ball. Last time I checked, Kobe Bryant was excellent at scoring without the ball. He could score off the dribble. He could score on was catch and shoot. He can score on a pin down, whatever you want to call it. Kobe didn't necessarily need the ball to be effective on the floor, and he would still be able to bring you first level defense while he was playing on the floor. Now let's switch Kobe Bryant out, and you're playing with LeBron. LeBron is not good with playing off of the ball. As a matter of fact, LeBron is only really effective when he has 2 things going in his favor. Number one, he's playing in a spread offense where basically you have a bunch of shooters that can space the floor for him because LeBron is a point forward, right? Essentially, that's what he is. So for LeBron to be effective, Shaq's game would need to suffer because LeBron needs to play with a lot of spacing in order to operate. Well, how are you going to do that when the 3-point advent hadn't taken place yet? Teams were still playing with their backs towards the basket, which means that the paint would need to be clogged up. So you would need to be really good at that pull-up jump shot going left or going right, which is LeBron is not adept at. And you're going to need to then try to find a way to open up the paint because if you can't slash to the basket, which is why he shoots such a high field goal percentage, what's his effectiveness playing with a Shaq? If you look at some of the big men that LeBron has played with, all of their games have suffered. All of them. But nevertheless, the knock is he makes players better. Who are these players that he's made better? Who are them? Who are they? Kevin Love's game deteriorated. AD has found a way to kind of sustain himself in this latter period. Look at Kevin Love. Kevin Love was relegated to a spot-up shooter in a corner. Look at Chris Bosh. All of these big men's games were actually affected, but when Kobe was playing with Shaq, Shaq was actually able to flourish playing alongside Kobe. He was averaging 30 a game those seasons. Playing with Kobe, name the big man that LeBron could play with, and that guy would average more points per game than him. Maybe with Anthony Davis right now, probably. So from a basketball standpoint, it wouldn't work. Now, I want to take it a step further.